Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Stupid. I'm Compound.
And I'm Proud, and today's topic is plant will be stupid.
Yay! Okay, so we're going to start off as usual with a little game, which Proud will begin first, as the tradition.
As usual.
Yeah, as usual. So we're going to come out with a new species or new genetically modified plants that might exist in the future. So yeah, let's start.
Sure. So, first of all, I have to give some basic information first. Do you know what 5G essentially is?
You can explain.
So, basically, 5G and let's just say most wireless technology use radio waves. And for 5G, it's going to be like in the higher frequency on the higher end of the spectrum. And so as you may or may not already know, the higher the frequency, it means that you will have the lesser shot length. Therefore, the range in which the area that is going to be covered with 5G is lesser as well. So in order for the network to sort of work efficiently, you have to have multiple checkpoints or multiple, I don't know, what does it call? Multiple emitter? I don't know the technical terms of that. Basically, you have a bunch of the equipment to spread the radio waves so that it can amplify the effect. So it's going to cost a lot in order to put up all those equipments, and therefore I thought maybe a company in the future might want to try to genetically modify plants that can emit radio waves in order for us to use the Wi-Fi everywhere, and it's going to also be good for the environment as well. And you can genetically modify like a short-lived plants so that it's almost like a subscription service that you have to like rebuy it again. And for the public places or larger company that want like a long-term plan, you can genetically modify like tall trees, long-living trees, and hopefully it will be better for the environment because everyone have to take care of their plants or else they will not have internet.
Oh, yeah, I think that idea is very interesting. Having plants as like antennas around the cities.
Sort of.
People will love plants more, but I'm not sure whether I can keep my plants alive. I mean, I would need a lot of renewal service because I'm not good at gardening at all.
Well, maybe you can genetically modify them to be more tolerant to like stressful situation or people like Compound.
Okay, can you modify it not to like, not to need any water in like a week because I might forgot to.
Oh, to be honest, there's a plant called like the air plant. You don't have to like put it in a soil, and like I've heard you have to soak it in water every week or so, just once, and then it's all good. You don't have to put it in a soil. It's weird.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Actually, I dreamt of being a farmer when I retire, but I don't think I can manage to complete that dream. First of all, because I don't have any farming knowledge whatsoever. I mean, it's basically like almost everybody's dream to like have their own farm when they're older, right? But I don't think that's possible for me though. But maybe I can learn before I get old.
Yeah, you can learn, and there are multiple technologies that can help you, and maybe some YouTube tutorials you can learn from.
Episode 1, How to be a farmer. Nice. Rancher diary. Alright. Okay, so anything else to add about your Wi-Fi plans?
I don't know, but maybe, well, like, large, it might be an incentive to keep growing the plant as well. As it grows larger, and maybe you can sell it as like, if it's larger, then it means that you'll get a faster internet speed
Mm-hmm.
or processing speed. I don't know. That's
But,
just
you know,
a little bit.
that's just unfair to me because it's never.
That's why it's going. Oh, I just came up with another marketing plan. Maybe like there's a so-called fertilizer to boost the thing.
Oh, it's like, enhancement package, right? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So my plants then, proud plants may be genetically modified, but I think of my plants as something that comes out of a mad scientist lab. So is this plants in, Thai literature, Thai fantasies, folklores. This plant is called Naripon and yeah,
Initially, I was going to go with that as well. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. So this plant, every once in a while, it gives a fruit that can grow into a woman, and there will be some, kind of half angels, half human who tries to fight each other in order to grab some of these fruits. But I think that's too basic. These concepts are just pure fantasy. So what I think will actually happen is that this plant fruits is actually not any female human at all, but instead it's a substance. It's sort of a drug that keep people hooked. And then people come back and buy these kind of products. This is just like coffee in the nutshell, but it's just bigger and more fancy.
Or
right?
Opium, right?
Yeah, exactly. But the catch is that if you left the fruit there too long, it will turn into some sort of bad drugs, which give you nightmares and create hallucinations and make you go insane. So I think of it as something that people might, kind of try to manufacture it into a lot of products, and there might be another so-called natural drugs like weed and coffee. Yeah, there might be another one of those.
Interesting. But I initially, when I said I wanted to go with the Naripon as well, was because I've heard that the fertility rate is like lower because of bad environment, and I don't know, maybe because of people perception of birth and things like that. It's just a lot lower. So initially I thought maybe we, instead of like genetically modified animals, we might use plant as artificial wombs instead. But I think it's just too far-fetched. Plant is like, the structure is like nothing like an animal, right? Because it's basically in a different kingdom.
And it also leads to a lot of moral issues to tackle. Right?
Like
You're going to use plants as artificial wombs. Have you asked the plants? Do plants have rights to decide to have kids or not? Because this is not the plant's kids, right? It gotta feed these babies with the nutrients it provides for itself. It did not ask for you to breed them, and like the process of breeding. That is just pure another level of fantasies that we're not going to touch.
It's just funny. I've also heard, it's a very interesting phrase. I believe I read it from Sapien or something, that actually wheat and rices and grains actually domesticated us, not us that domesticated them, because we don't gain much nutrient from it. We gain nutrient from other things, but because we're sort of used to these plants, these produce, it ended up like domesticated us. We gain less nutrient, and they are just a very they are just very needy plants. They have we have to take care of them like excessively. Like you've already heard, like droughts problem for the farmers in Thai provincial areas, that like Shao Na and stuff, that they have droughts problem and the economy is not very good and so on.
So it's not the government's fault, but it's the fault of those weeds, right? Bad weeds, terminate weeds. now. You have rats in your house, get them out, kick them out. Well, I mean that it kind of makes sense, but the point is that there's so many different types of plants, right? Are we going to, if weed domesticates us, so it also means that other plants that we grow domesticate us as well, right? But other plants might have much more nutrients than weeds, so
Yes.
I consider that a fair trade then.
But for weed, it exists in basically almost every corner of the world. It's like somehow like bread, like rice that we eat every day. We normally like, you can see it from Thai culture, we eat rice with everything basically. So
Exactly.
for other plants, I feel like it's not as they're not as
Prevalent?
influential and successful in domesticating as weed.
All right, let's say wheat then. But wheat also, yeah, kind of successful in domesticating us in some level,
Oh my
right?
god. Sure.
You know, funny that these kind of words sounds almost the same.
Yeah, basically the same. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've talked about the dream of being a farmer, right? When I'm old. So I've recently discovered a technique that people use to grow plants. It's very ingenious, but it's actually pretty much something basic, but I can't think of it. So they basically have a black plastic, biodegradable black plastic sheet over the crops, over the land, and then they, kind of poke a little holes in these plastic sheets, small holes, and they drop the seed in each hole. So the thing that you will get from this is that other pest plants can't grow because they are covered in black sheet and they won't receive any lights, and also other pest animals cannot mess with these plants because it is covered in black sheet. So it's pretty cool, I think. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand, but I don't think it's going to be that effective. I don't know. I just think it's too much work to just poke some holes and.
Oh,
I
it
think-
comes in package from like the manufacturers.
Like already punctured,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. That's definitely something. But I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what to add to that.
So I think that even though I suck at gardening, there might be some chances in the future some geniuses develop some
Right.
tools for me to actually become a rancher.
Rancher, compound the rancher.
Yeah, but it's really difficult for ranchers because I think that we always have these problems since like the dawn of time, that the people who own the land and the people who uses the lands are like two different parties, right? They're like the farmers and they're like the property owners. So nowadays it's very difficult for farmers to ever get any real profit because they need to spend these monies paying the property owners who got so much capital to buy like the property in the rural areas.
That's interesting. I'm not sure about it much, but I've heard that in like other countries that's not in Thailand, maybe some Western country, the farmers usually like own the land and they are very rich. But for Thai farmers, they are rather poor. I'm not sure why as well. I've heard that produce and agricultural products are one of the very top, maybe in the third place for the most export goods in Thailand. But still, these people still are very poor. I don't understand how it works. But basically, crops and vegetable and fruits in Thailand are just so cheap. And they're also very delicious to add on that.
Well, I think that if I would have to speculate, I would say that it is because we sell products that is cheap and we don't have like a proper standards to follow. So the basically we're just growing crops as we like it. So the quality is not consistent, and therefore even though we export a lot and the value generally is high, the cost of products each is very low because we do not have the consistency that the international market wants. So we're kind of like below standards. That's like the sad truth, but I guess it happens.
Oh, and maybe food in Thai is also very cheap because the ingredients are very cheap, right? I think maybe it's also because, well, there are more supply than demands, I suppose, because some part of Thailand is very weird. It's very arable, but other parts are so barren, and some. I think I've heard like. Suddenly my mind went blank. Whatever, let's move on.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like there are some Thai products that are very prominent, like in the international markets. For example, our durians. But the point of it is that I've learned that we lacked like marketing and branding. So if some good come from Thailand, it's just any other goods. Okay, it has no specialty, it has no additional values. Because I've heard that people in like the coffee industry, they are trying to promote Thai coffee by like, giving them high ratings and teaching farmers how to make special blend of coffee breed.
Maybe it's because of our culture and our perspective this day as well that, well, it's interesting to see that Thai people don't usually support Thai products, like in every aspects.
We supported some products. For example, we really like durians, like volcano ash durians. People buy it like 20K or whatever. I mean, it's just a durian. I'm not into it, but I get why people buy it. It's just like marketing, branding, and like additional values to stuff, right? But like the point is that if we do that to every single product in Thailand, the price of food in our country will rise up drastically. And people nowadays can't barely afford buying food, to be honest.
Yeah, because of obviously COVID. But, well, for my opinion, I think durian is highly overrated. I'm not sure if it's like it's a trend or something. I think it's overrated. I mean, I'm fine with durian. They're delicious, but I don't understand why you have to buy a fruit that expensive while other fruits are like as delicious to me.
I don't like durian, so I feel like I shouldn't comment on that. So I might be labeled durian haters. So I never really had like real durians, but I smell them and then I say, no, go away.
I mean, I don't love it that much, but it's like if someone give me, I'll eat it.
I guess it's okay. I like that it got like values. I like that Thai product can like sell in like higher values and it has its own brand. But the point is, it's actually pretty much overrated and the price is like, kind of floated up so high.
Yeah, it's very crazy.
It's too extreme, I think, but maybe we can take durian as an extreme example and try to slowly raise the values of other vegetables products or fruit products in Thailand, I guess. Well, for other things that I feel like should be mentioned is that, there are new laws in a lot of countries, including our country, I'm not sure, that the species of plants in a land does not belong to the land. And other people from foreign universities or foreign independent research centers can come gather these seeds and then kind of genetically modify it or use it in like a commercial use anyhow they'd like it, because a species of plants does not belong to each land.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. it's intriguing as well. I thought you were going to talk about like alien species or something,
Mm-hmm.
but that's also it's quite weird. But do you think it will like genetically modify those local plants? Do you think it will take a toll on nature, or will those things extinct? Or oh, but I guess there must be some rules to regulate the use of that, right?
I honestly don't know, but I think as long as it's agricultural products, it's hard that it with a lot of modern technologies in like, American farming system, American farming technique, I feel like it is possible for them to genetically modify some local plants in Southeast Asia and still grow it there without making the original plants extinct and make it even a
Oh,
better species.
uh-huh.
So
Like
we
what
might be the one
part?
who decide to terminate the original species.
Ooh. Oh, some shocking facts I realized not long ago was that um, watermelons in America are all seedless, and
Really?
yeah, they are all seedless. We're all genetically modified, and I was so jealous of that because every time I eat watermelon in Thailand, we got all the seeds, and the flesh is just like I don't know, 40%.
Yeah, totally get it. I quit eating watermelon because I cancel seed cultures.
Well, I mean, like other countries, we're in Thailand. We're pretty familiar with like seedless grapes, right? But for watermelon, it's very shocking, and for
Mm-hmm.
apples or things like that, I was really shocked when I found that out on the internet.
Yeah, do you think that we will, kind of mutate because we eat too much genetically modified stuff?
Oh, that's a very controversial topic. Like those watermelons are probably called like GMOs, right?
Yeah.
Genetically modified. Yeah, I've heard of like many anti-vaxxers and stuff saying protesting about genetically modified products as well.
Well, maybe they're wrong about the vaccine and they can be right about this.
Who knows? It's totally unrelated, but it's just a weird coincidence that those groups of people are the same.
Right? All right. So I feel like, even though we mutate, it's going to take a toll on our children, not me, and I'm a selfish person, so that's fine.
Sure.
Totally. All right, anything else to add?
Not really on this topic.
Okay. So any other topic you wanted to talk about?
we're we're we really have no idea about plants, but well, oh, recently I've been propagating some houseplants and I really love them, especially like the creepers. Well, I mean, I've heard some qualities or some propaganda saying that these houseplants can purify the air. What do you think about
Uh-huh.
that?
I don't think so because I used to when I
Really?
was younger, I used to think that why do people in Bangkok need to be concerned about like pollution when we got like Lumpini Park in the
Oh my
center of our
god.
town, and obviously it doesn't work that way, right? So
Uh-huh.
I think that likewise, houseplant wouldn't purify air in your house that much.
Yeah, I do agree. Or else, I think of like, what is that called? When the smog, there were times that Bangkok was covered in smog
Yeah.
and the air quality was really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like if these plants can really purify the air, then probably the government would want to plant it everywhere, right?
Yeah, totally. And also, plants are not like natural filter. Like it is at some
Yeah.
levels, but it's
Hmm.
not like your filters that you bought to fend off PM 2.5. It's like different, dude.
Hmm. Like the advertisements always says like they absorb toxins and I don't know, dust, micro something. Yeah. But they're just pretty for me, so I don't really care.
I mean, they might at some level, but not as much as we'd like to believe they do.
Sure. Also,
Well, I do have new plants at my house. I'm trying to grow something to prove that I'm responsible enough to take care of stuff.
you're
Suppose-
responsible enough.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pests. So there's snails, right? So the thing I do to prevent my plants from snail is that I suddenly move I move all of my plants inside like a bucket, and I move that bucket indoors in the night, and then
Really?
in the morning I pour the dirt back to the field, and then do that every time. I'm not sure whether it survived or not.
Oh my
We'll
god.
see. We'll see. I'll keep
Why,
you informed.
I heard that there are chemicals that farmers use to like. It's not necessary. I mean it's probably one type of pesticide, but it's like some small beads to prevent those snails. And I've also heard that snails hate salt, right? So you could try that as well.
Oh, I will try that. I'm going a basil, and shouldn't snails and pests hate basil? Or these snails
don't
are
know.
too hungry that they would take anything.
I don't really know, but honestly, even though I like house plants and plants in general, I hate worms. I hate them. They're just so. Ugh.
Which type of worm?
All type of worms.
Including
Earthworm
earthworm.
include. Yes. They're the worst. There was one time when I was in primary school. I was late that day, so I had to it was the morning singing national anthem thing. But that day it was special because we have to pray. It's probably Tuesday or something that we have to
Oh
pray.
yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah. So I had to go to my rooms and sort of what is it called? We will stand in rows, right? So I have to walk to the rows that my friends are there. So
Yeah.
I was just walking, and I felt like there were some leaves over my drop over my head because our school grew a lot of
Yeah.
trees. It's very luxuriant, and
Yeah.
suddenly there was a leaf on top of my head, and I was I just sort of wipe it off, and then I was walking to my room and praying, and suddenly I felt something wiggling in my neck, and then the goosebump rises all over my body, and so I picked it up, and I saw it was a huge worm of sort, a huge brown jiggly worm.
Oh my god. Okay.
So I threw it away. It was traumatizing.
I can imagine. So Lord Buddha decided to test you then.
Yeah, I was about to scream, but instead I just threw it away and never saw it again.
No. Man, poor you.
Yeah, right. I was already very, very scared of worm at that point. And that happened, and I was so shocked. But it was the only time I came into close contact with worms.
I actually have another point that I would like to raise. So, in schools in Thailand, well, I guess if you are foreigners, you can probably guess that our country is a tropical countries, and trees are literally everywhere. It's not the same in every schools, but the schools that we attended, junior high and high school, they're very lush. It means that there are trees everywhere. To the point that I'm frightened that there might be some snakes.
Oh, that's true. I just saw some 1 year.
And the point is that when these kind of tropical theme schools
Tropical
might
theme.
potentially bring danger to your students, would you want to have these kind of tropical theme schools?
It's not that tropical, though. It's not a forest. It's not a tree
Oh,
trees
really?
are in our classroom, but it's
Yeah,
like
oh yeah.
other than the passage in classroom, is trees everywhere. Um,
How's that different?
a little different. It's not that well. It's luxuriant, but it's not that luxuriant.
It's not a forest, okay? It's a school, but
It's a
with a lot of
school.
trees.
Basically, yeah. For our high school, like our secondary, what does it call? Secondary high school. I
High
don't
school,
know.
just high school, right?
Just
Okay.
high school. Okay, sure. I also saw like water monitor, like a group of them. It was like it's breeding season.
Oh my
Like
god,
they were
okay.
like crossing the road, and I was shocked because I saw like tens of them.
Oh my god, tens of them?
Yeah, I told you it was like their breeding season. They have like a natural habitat under the building tour or something. One teacher told me.
Ah. Oh, you
So I
know.
was.
Mm-hmm.
It was so scary. Like they were walking, like oh
They were having some family time, right?
yeah.
You know, under our schools, there's like used to be like a secret passage because it used to be like a hospital in like World War
Yeah.
One or something, right? So I
Or
guess
World
that
War
they
Two?
basically, yeah, World War Two. I'm sorry, they basically live there now. Water monitors gang.
Yeah. And that is also like a scary story about school, that it used to be like a battlefield here and a hospital, so many people died and things like that, and teacher used to scare us.
Yeah, but right now we know that they don't want us to go down there because we'll encounter families of, tropical crocodiles. No, tropical water monitors. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, these kind of I feel like yeah, it's all fun and game when we see it and we jokes about it, but it's not everybody gangsta until someone got bitten, right?
Yeah. I heard that like they're I'm not sure if you got bitten, it's probably like poisonous, or maybe because their teeth are very dirty, like their saliva, you can get infected
so-
very easily.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Like their saliva is full of like pathogens and stuff, and when they bite you, it's just like you need to cut that part out of your body.
Ew. Uh-huh.
Well, okay, but I think plants are cool and everything. You know, we in our schools we have to do a report about like plants.
Oh
in
yeah.
our
Every
schools.
time they try to integrate botany in basically every subject from like Thai, so we have to like write a poem
An
about
essay?
it, an
Yeah.
essay, a poem about plants. Basically, we have for art we have to draw plants. For chemistry, we have to find the chemical compound in that specific plant. I'm not sure why they're doing this to us, but
Well, I don't I can't absolutely say I love that program, and I get their incentive though. I really like that our schools have plants because I have never been bitten by any animals that lives in those plants, so I can say this fully. But
me too.
one time there was this no, I'm telling you why I love plants so much. There's this anchan flowers. What is it called in English? Wait.
I don't know. It's like the bluish flower. Couldn't
Yeah,
remember as well.
The bluish flowers. I'm not sure. I'll look the but I
Let me
don't
Google
it ends
that.
with P something. P.
Butterfly pea.
Yeah, butterfly pea. So in our country, right, we have this bit crazy belief that like butterfly pea, if you like use it to your eyebrows,
Oh, yeah,
you
I
can
know
like
that as well.
enhance it. And if you guys have seen my face, you would know that it didn't work. Because
me too.
I've
It
tried
didn't work with me too.
So I decided to take a revenge on them. I decided to have some little revenge play. So there's like this bushes of like butterfly pea near building 3, right? So I gather them in like a small cup made of paper, and then I'm going to take it home, brew some herbal drinks for my friends at school. Yeah, and I was caught by the school gardeners. He was
Oh
like,
my
"What are you
God.
doing, man?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just gathering butterfly pea." He was like, "No, like seriously, who tells you to do this?" I was like, "Oh, I was using it for my research project. I told you I'm good at acting."
Research.
And he was like, "Are you allowed?" I was like, "My teacher tell me to do so." and then he was like, "Next time you need to tell me first." And then I was like, how am I supposed to tell you when I don't even know who you are? I just know that you are the school gardeners. There's a lot of school gardeners, right? So you're just this guy that pops up. And so then I don't care about him. I don't think about him too much because I already got my butterfly piece. That's all I need. I went home, brewed some drinks, and I even give it to you. Have you tried it?
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew it was from our school butterfly piece. Oh my God.
Why do you think I give it to you then?
I was an accomplice. Oh my God.
Okay, so the thing is, the next time I go and ask my teacher whether it's like okay to actually like harvest school plants, she says, "Oh, but actually nobody cares. Like people in the faculty, the teacher department doesn't care what you do. But the only people who cares are the gardeners because they want these butterfly
probably.
peas for their own utility. They wanted to
Oh.
make omelets and stuff. So I think it's fair that I took them because it's my property. I pay for the semester fee."
Oh my God. You're so naughty.
And that's the naughtiest thing I do. Imagine how nerdy I am. Okay, so anything else to add about plants?
Nope.
Okay, then I guess that's all. So the question we would like to left to the listeners would be, what is the naughtiest thing you've done with plants? Yeah, well, don't send creepy answers.
So you can send us your answer to letstalkstupid.stupid@gmail.com, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. It's all Let's Talk Stupid.
Yay! And that's all. That's all for this episode. So we'll see you again. Yeah, next week or probably next week.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like the examination crisis period.
Yeah.
And we have to get into a university soon. So we'll be pretty busy.
Yeah, but we'll try to be back, right? Okay, so that's pretty much all the news we want to deliver to you. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.